So let's start. First, to access Scratch, we have to visit scratch.mit.edu. On the home page, click on Join Scratch, or if you already have an account, click on Sign In. Actually, I'm already signed in. Once you're signed in, click on Create to start a new project. And it's time to explore. Drag and drop blocks into the scripts areas and see what happens. Well, as you can see, this is our first project. And this is the name of our project. So let's name it My First Project. Okay. This is the mascot of Scratch. It is a really funny cat. This is our scene, where all the action happens. Actually, as you can see, this is our stage, and this is how we'll call it. This is a sprite, and all the sprites are shown there. They are shown in our stage, and also we have a summary of sprites right there. In the middle, we have all our commands or our scripts. And in the right side, we have all the scripts area. For example, in this category, we have all the commands that have to do with motion, like move 10 steps or turn 15 degrees. In the second category, we have the looks category, so how our sprite looks. We can say hello, think something, we can show a sprite or hide a sprite. We can switch our costume to our next costume, or we can set specific graphics, change size, or set size. The third category has to do with sound. We have to play sound like meow. This is a cat, right? To stop all sounds, play drum for specific seconds or for specific beats. Play note, set instrument to specific level of volume, and we can even change the tempo of the volume. The fourth category is pen. This actually looks like logo, so that if our cat or our sprite is moving around our scene, he can have the pen down so that can leave its mark down to the environment. We will see an example later. The fifth category is data. Here we can make variables, and with variables we can store things like score or things like our name in our game, or things that we would like to store and change the value later in our game. The sixth category is events. So we would like that when the flag is clicked or when a key is pressed to do something. So all this when something is done, when a key is pressed, when the sprite is clicked, when loudness is above a specific level, we would like something to be done inside our game. And this is exactly where all the scripts are categorized. The seventh category of scripts is control. So we would like to repeat a set of commands, a set of scripts for specific number of times. Or maybe we would like some things to be done forever. Or we would like to be done if something happens. If something happens, then we would like a set of scripts to be executed. Or we would like a set of scripts to be executed if something is not happened. So if something is happened, for example, if score is above 4, or if score is less than 0, then I would like to be shown a big game over. Else, I would like to go on, to move with my game, or just to eliminate one life. So the lives variable will be eliminated by 1. The next category is sensing. We would like some things to be done inside our game if we touch a specific point, or if we touch another sprite, or if the distance between my mouse and the sprite is in specific level. The next category is operators. I would like to add 2 scores, or to subtract them, or to multiply them, or to divide them. Or I would like to pick a random number between 1 to 10. And finally, I can have my own blocks, create a block, and add an extension. We will see many examples, and we will use most of them. But first of all, let's start with our basic sprite, that is a cat. And by using this sprite, actually each object in Scratch is called a sprite. You can add sprites by choosing from the library. This is the way that we can choose a sprite from the library, and here are a lot of sprites that you can use in your own game or in your own story. You can even have a dragon, a duck, a donut, and actually there is a library of sprites like animals, fantasy, letters, people. And I think that I will add this girl, Avery. I like this girl. Well, something that you should note is that each sprite has a number of costumes. For example, Anaina Hip Hop has 13 costumes. We will see what costumes mean actually. I like this sprite, so I will add this girl, and as you can see, the stage changed, and now I have 2 sprites. So you can add sprites by choosing from the library. You can even paint your own. I will make a try, although I'm awful to painting, and I will add something like this, a head, 2 eyes. Okay, I know that even a 3-year-old child can draw better than me, but after all, this is much more awful than I thought it would be. So I'm sorry, as I draw it, you can show this sprite here. Okay, it's awful, so I would like to delete it. Do you see these menus? The first one is to duplicate this awful painting. So now I have sprite 2 and sprite 3. Here they are. If you would like to eliminate them, to delete them, we have to choose the second one and click on your sprite. With the third choice, you can grow. With the fourth choice, you can shrink. That's it. You can even paint your own sprite, or you can upload an image, or you can even take a picture of you from the webcam. This actually is the stage. This is where you can preview what your code does. You can add backdrops to your stage. You can start and stop the preview at any time using this grid flag, or you can stop them with the red stop symbol at the top of the stage. You can even change the background here, and the way you did it is by choosing the stage, and then you can choose the background from a library. And I think that I like this one, which is much more cool than before. In the same way as exactly the sprites, you can even create something as a backdrop by painting, or by uploading from a file, or even with your camera you can take a snapshot, a photo, and upload it. As I said before, scripts are commands. This is how the magic happens actually. You can use scripts to instruct your sprite to do what you want it to do. From moving forward to saying hello, scripts are arranged in a logical sequence to program the sprite. We will cover each of these in more detail as you work through challenges. So, as I said, all of the coding happens here. The way that it happens is by dragging and dropping scripts into this area. By writing scripts out of the area, you can then delete it. So let's make a small example. We have a sprite here, and actually I will use the event, and I will say when this flag is clicked, I would like to move 10 steps. So let's write. Nice. So you see, each time that I click this flag, my cat is moving. But not so naturally. What I have to do is that I would like to move 5 steps, and each time that I make a step, as a human being does it, I have to go to the next costume. What do you mean? Do you see? Costume 1, costume 2, costume 1, costume 2. So it's something like walking in my scene. So when the flag is clicked, move 5 steps, and then switch to next costume. So let's write much more naturally. And I would like to do it to repeat this process 10 times. So let's write. Nice. Maybe 20 steps. So let's do it very, very fast. I would like to move 20 steps, go to next costume, and to wait for about 0.26 seconds. So let's try it. Very, very nice. Maybe if I repeat it for 14 times. Nice. Let's try these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commands with Avery. Hi Avery. You see, each time I choose a different sprite, I have a blank new script area because I have to program each sprite differently, separately. So let's try it again. Go to sprite 1 and take all these commands, drag it and drop it inside Avery. You see, now Avery has the same commands. But check this. If I'm going to start this flag, to click this flag, then what will happen? Avery will execute these commands, and at the same time the cat will execute the same commands. So let's see what will happen. Do you see? Hey, where are you going? Come back. So, as I can see, the costumes of Avery are these two things. And actually, it's not something like walking. So I will take off Avery and I will add another sprite that has to do with Avery walking, right? So, as I say, the costumes of Avery now is working much better. So I'm going to my cat and I'm going to drag and drop these commands to Avery. Actually, to copy these commands to Avery. So let's start again. Click the flag and you see very naturally they are working. Nice. This is our first recording, our first lesson, and we're going next to create our first game.